Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to break down two really important laws that protect your financial life. But honestly, they're super easy to get mixed up. We're talking about the Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Fair Housing Act. So just think about it for a second. When you're making some of the biggest money moves of your life, trying to get a car loan, applying for a credit card, or maybe finding a new apartment, who's actually looking out for you? Who's making sure you get a fair shake? Well, it turns out there are laws for that. And these are our two main characters in this whole story of financial protection. You've got the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which we'll call ECOA, and on the other side, the Fair Housing Act, or FHA. Now, they might sound kind of similar, but trust me, they operate in totally different worlds. And really, the single best way to get these two straight is to know where they do their work, to know their specific arena. One is kind of a general, all-purpose protector, while the other is a total specialist. Okay, let's really get into this. So ECOA's entire world is credit. Literally, anytime you apply for credit, doesn't matter if it's a huge mortgage, a car loan, or even just a simple store credit card, ECOA's is standing guard. Now the FHA, it's a specialist. Its focus is exclusively on your home, and that covers the whole shebang, from renting and selling to financing a place to live. All right, so now we know where they work. The next big question is, who exactly do they protect? Now, there's some really important overlap here, which is great, but it's the differences that really tell the whole story. At their very core, both of these laws share the same fundamental mission. They make it flat out illegal to discriminate against you based on these 5 categories: your race, your color, your religion, national origin, and your sex. You can think of this as the bedrock, the foundation they're both built on. And here, this is where their paths really split. ECO throws in 3 extra, unique protections: your marital status, your age, and the fact that you might be receiving public assistance income. The FHA, because it's all about housing, adds protections for familial status, which basically means if you have kids, and for individuals with a disability. It just makes sense, right? But it's not just about who's protected. To really get the picture, you have to know that each law has its own special set of tools, its own special powers to enforce fairness. So let's take a look at those. So check this out. ECOA has this incredibly powerful rule called the adverse action notice. And this is a game changer. It means if a lender turns you down for credit, they can't just say nope and walk away. They have 30 days to send you a notice telling you exactly why. It puts the power back in your hands because you're never left wondering in the dark. The FHA, on the other hand, has its own set of special powers, and they're designed to fight some really deep historical injustices. It specifically goes after stuff like redlining. You know, that illegal practice of drawing a red line around a neighborhood on a map and refusing to offer services there, and other tactics like steering people toward or away from certain areas because of their race. And finally, who are the referees here? Who enforces the rules? Well, they're different too. For ECOA, you've got the big consumer watchdogs, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, and the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. But for the FHA, the main agency in charge is the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. Okay, I know that was a whole lot of information. So how in the world are you supposed to keep all this straight when you actually need it? Don't worry, we've got you. We have a super simple but powerful memory trick that you can use forever. Seriously. To lock all of this in, it all just comes down to 2 letters. That's it. 1 little letter for each law, and you'll never mix them up again. So for ECOA, I want you to just remember the letter C. C is for credit. Easy enough, right? Credit points you directly to ECOA. And what about those unique protections? Well, they actually spell a word. MAP. Marital status, age, and public assistance. So C is for credit is for ECOA, and ECOA gives you a map. And for the FHA, I bet you can guess it. Just think H. H is for housing, which leads you right to the FHA. And its unique protections? Just remember the letters FD, familial status and disability. It's really that simple. Let's say it together. C, credit, ECOA, map. H, housing, FHA, FD. Boom, you've got it. Look, if you take away just one thing from our explainer today, let it be this. They're both about fighting discrimination, yes, but one protects your credit and the other protects your home. Knowing which one applies to what you're dealing with, is it a credit card or a rental agreement, that is the absolute first step to understanding and, actually using your rights.
So there you have it, our explainer on the critical differences between ECOA and FHA. We'll leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you can tell these two guardians of fairness apart, what's the next step? How can you take this knowledge and use it to be a smarter consumer and a more informed citizen?